What is going on YouTube? It's Justin back again as the Blue Collar Investor, and today I want to talk to you about a little thing known as the 7% rule. Well, it's a little rule of thumb in the investing world, and it's simple. And basically what it states is if you have debts that the interest rate is more than 7%, then when you have extra money you want to put towards investments, don't do it. Pay off your debts first. I know a lot of people will say, think positive, think prosperity, and this is true, but you have created yourself a hole. Now, it's not impossible to get out of the hole, but if you keep putting your extra money, whether it's $100 a week, $200 a week, $300 a week, or a month, whatever you can work with, if you keep putting it towards investments, you're gonna be fighting against yourself. It's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, if that makes sense. So it's quite simple. It basically means most credit cards, which is a typical debt that people have, most credit cards have a high interest rate, a high APR, which is what its annual rate percentage. Now what that means is that every year you're getting charged a certain percentage. It could be down here at my lowest credit card is 11%. Yes, I have one. It helps you build credit, and that's for another video. And I've seen some, if you get Discover or Home Depot, they can go as up to high as 24%. I've seen them. And what does that mean? What that means is that whatever you've accumulated in debt, whether it is $500, $5,000, or like me, I got up to 5 digits, way up there. The cool news is it's not hopeless. You need to pay it down. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes a budget, which I'll get into in another video. But for now, like I said, the 7% rule. Now, what I'm going to do is I have a little paper down here that I'm going to show you. This is kind of the breakdown I want to show you. If you look at this side, we have debt, and on this side, we have your investments. So we're going to say right here, if you're like me, you have a high debt, right? You have a $5,000 debt. And your rating, typically, like I said, they can be anywhere from 12% to 20% annually. So we'll go in the middle and we'll say 16%, right? So what that means is over here, we have the investment side as well, because you work with both of them. So on the investment side, you've got $2,000 of investments, right? And we'll be generous and say you're netting 10%, right? So at the end of the year, on your investment side, you've made $2,200. You've gotten $200 on dividends and returns, and you have $2,200 investments, right? On the flip side, your debt has netted 16% interest. So now you have a total, we'll say you haven't paid anything off, it's $5,800, right? If you come down here in the section, right here in the middle, you see I subtract the annual debt interest from what you made in investments, and you're left with a $600 negative. Now, had you started off with $1,000 up here, right, and you put that into the debt side versus the investment side, you would have had a lot less interest going on. And I know some of you might say, well, the debt side is at $5,000 and the investment side is, less than half that. I get that. So let's do a role reversal down here. So down here you have $2,000 in debt and $5,000 in investments. It's the same percentages. I gave you the medium, which was the average is 16%, and I still give you the 10% over here. So say you had $5,000 in investments, right? And you got your 10% a year, your $500, that gives you $5,500. And over here you have your $2,000 at 16%. You would have accrued $320 in interest, right? So you'd wind up with $2,300. The same point down here I want to make is that while you make out with $180 net worth return on a year, it's not a lot of money. The name of the game, the 7%, and I know I haven't explained it yet, but the name of the game, the 7%, is any debt you have over 7%, I might have said it earlier, I don't remember, you pay off as soon as you can. You expedite it. You guys are back up here. So why do you expedite it? Because, like I explained down there on the paper, that you wind up wasting more money. Your money's not working as effectively as it could for you. So what does this mean? What can you do? A lot of people do pre-payoffs. So for example, myself trying to pay off my credit debt, or I am paying it off, and I'm getting lower and lower every month. So my minimum, we'll say, is $150, right? So instead of just paying the $150, because that's another video I'll do. If you pay bare minimum, how long it would take you to pay off what amounts, depending on your APR. So instead of just paying $150, if I got an extra $100, instead of putting it in the investment side, I pay an extra $100 off of my debt side. It lowers the debt, it lowers your interest, and it actually saves you money in the long run. Over years, like years, depending on how high your debt is, and this is just credit debt, it could save you thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. On the other side, though, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what about a mortgage? What about a car? Other huge purchases, home improvement purchases you've made? I wouldn't worry about that. Typically, a lot of loans are under 7%. I'll give you a wild example. My first car loan I made was on a 2007 Ford Focus. Because it was my first loan ever, and I didn't have any collateral, that cost me 12%. So that would have been something totally different, which I did pay off. It was a 5-year loan. I paid it off in 2. So it's one of those weird things that the big purchases you don't have to worry about because they're lower. A lot of APRs, the highest I've ever seen is 8%. That's crazy. That's like crap credit. If you have anywhere over 600, you can easily get APRs for a mortgage, and you're talking fixed rate mortgages at 3%, 2%. If you're a VA guy, if you're a veteran and you're working with the VA with the home loans, you can easily get 1.5% or less. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about those. Keep on the regular payments with those, but anything over 7%, I can't reiterate anymore. I can't implore you more to look at overpaying and paying them off faster, because you're just losing so much money on that interest, so much. And you don't have to believe me. I have this firm belief of trust but verify, and I want you to verify yourself. I want you to look at your credit debt. I want you to look at any other sort of debt you may have. Maybe you took a personal loan out, any possible debt you have, and I want you to verify it yourself. I want you to run your own numbers. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. Tune in next Friday. I release videos Fridays around 6 o'clock. Comments in this section if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if there's new things you want me to talk about, let me know. Like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys later.